What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Pristine Auto Clean YouTube channel. And today, it's Friday. We got typical New England weather. It's snowing outside, sleeting. I'll show you what we're working with right here. Yep. So, finally, been waiting a month and a half. Finally, we're gonna do some cool work, not just detailing, because I do a little bit of everything. We'll be playing with the shop car today. 01 GTi VR6 shaved bay, like 6 years ago. Custom paint job, all done by yours truly. And we just picked up a new tool today that we're gonna put right to use. I'm pretty pumped on it. I've always wanted something like this, and I finally bit the bullet, bought it, pumped, and you guys are gonna come along for the journey of me actually putting this thing to use day one, and we're gonna do some custom sheet metal work. All right, guys, so essentially what we're gonna do today is our hood contours to these headlights. You notice on most Volkswagens it's a big round symbol. We already shaved the bumper. We have the 2-bar grill installed. It's like $50 grill, but it looks gorgeous. And then when we put our hood on, we have the notch for the emblem. Well, I have a hood that's off the car, and I have the filler piece, which I already paid for about 6 years ago. Just never had a welder to do it, and nobody wanted to do it for me. So what our piece is going to do is essentially draw a line right across our headlight, and it's going to contour this upper grill bar. Same thing on the other side, and this thing is going to look super aggressive. Every 5-minute project is one step away from becoming a 15-minute ordeal. Step number 1 is we need to remove this seam sealer. We're going to probably rivet it or just a couple tacks on the back side to hold it in place. But we'll strip all the seam sealer off this edge. That way we can get a nice proper metal fit. Test fit it, probably the hood on the car. We'll go from there. Guys, so what we have here is a seam sealer stripper. It's got these little fingers. It's gonna make quick work of this. You should be wearing a full face shield, but at bare minimum, you definitely want some safety glasses on. Guys, so this is the actual extension piece. So essentially, this piece is like stamped out to fit pretty much perfect. That's why we removed the seam seal to get a nice flush fit with this. We have to prep this surface, get any boogers and stuff off. So what you didn't see off camera is these little edges right there. They were protruding up a little bit, so I just hammer and dollied them flush. As well as I went around this whole seam. I did find a spot that's starting to rust that was a little bit raised, but we want to get this as flat as possible. So with this piece, we can fit it in as flush as possible. So the flatter we get it, the better fitment, less filler. So essentially, we got rivets, I got 4 of them. Just holding the BOSER extension to. All right, this is what we're working with. So obviously this was the side I was talking about, which I'm pretty sure I can do some magic and get this to fit good. And I think I can throw a little bit of weld right in that corner and make that little piece. If not, I cut a itty bitty piece of sheet metal and make it work. But the fitment, I mean, nice little valley to lay our weld in. Not too bad, just a couple rivets. I'm just trying to take my time and plan this out methodically, just so I don't end up working backwards. Sometimes slow is fast. Not bad. All right, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm pretty pumped with the fitment. I'm gonna go ahead and trim that edge I've been worried about. I'm gonna scribe the back side of it. That way when I sand it down to put my weld through copper on, I can still see the line. looks like a little pile of shit. What's going on, guys? Part 2 here with the Boser hood. Ended up hanging out with some friends last night. Kind of called it quits with the hood. As you can see, we got probably 50% of the tax done. All right, so finally we got it welded all on the front. We got it smooth. It's not perfect. I did not practice welding on 2 sheets of metal like I should have did. We also got the bacon out of it. I didn't even show you guys because it was really bad. And by bacon, I mean the filler piece definitely warped a lot more than I originally anticipated, but which is expected, that many tack welds. 4.5, 5 feet of actually welding, you know, it'll do some warpage to it. But luckily, I got a good friend who's a body guy, a lot better than I am, can swing a hammer, he does it every day. And we got this thing looking mint. I'm gonna show you guys how it's roughed out, and then we're gonna call it a day, at least for today. I got it all pre-cleaned so it's not gonna flash rust. Gotta order some more stuff, some Bondo, some icing, some POR 15 that we're gonna pour into areas underside the hood, that way we don't have a rust issue because we are in the Northeast. But other than that, this thing's turning out mint. It's gonna be sick when it's on the car. I cannot wait to test it. So this is what we're working with. A couple spots, smoothed out really good. Didn't want to remove too much weld, only because you want to keep some strength in this. We do have it riveted. We are going to throw some plug welds on the back of it, but as you can see, if you look down that edge, it's going to be a little tough with the phone, but it's pretty straight. Maybe from the inside you can see it. It's not perfect, but if you've seen it before, it looked like a crispy piece of bacon. Welds are not perfect by any means. Take a wire brush. We're going to clean out all the carbon out of all of these, but before we do that, we're going to pour POR 15 in through these. We're going to load it up in all these seams, but literally until it starts seeping out of any pinholes we have. I'm still going after this hood. It's Sunday night, like 8 o'clock at night. We're just doing the finishing steps on this. We got it all roughed out as far as bodywork is concerned, and we just have to do a couple plug welds on the back. I'm gonna show you guys how it fit. Came out really good. And I'm just gonna show you guys how I'm gonna seal up the bare metal on the back side of this. Do the filler work sometime this week. I just wanna get this thing sealed up. That way if it sits around in my shop for a week, I'm not gonna have rust developing in places I can't fix. So mind you, all the bare metal has been lacquer, thinner, amber rust proof, body shop product. Basically seals anything that you're gonna, weld together, and it's weld through primer. So essentially it's just gonna seal it off, essentially stop any flash rust. But so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start our prep for filler. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand pretty much probably a couple inches past our weld area. We're gonna use some reinforced filler on it. I did a little bit of stuff off camera. I'm just aligning some gaps, replacing some bolts that weren't even getting tight, trying to get the gaps right in this thing before I do any more body work. A little bit of hammer dolly. All right, so we got our hood gap kind of roughed out. As you can see, it's not perfect, but so I'm gonna have to pull this headlight back. This gap was really fat, and it's still really fat right here. So I gotta do something with this, gotta get creative. I'm gonna take the bumper off, probably tweak some more stuff. It's a little tight here, but I only have myself here, so aligning this thing's kind of a chore.
Yo, shout out Cool. Keep the channel still. Jay didn't do it either.
All right, so what I'm gonna be using today is Wanda primer, 4-to-1 ratio primer to hardener, and we'll use a ratio cup. Go over to 4-to-1. So 4-to-1, the way it translates is the way you read it out. So there's that. Your first one, that's your 4 parts. There's your 1 part. So if you need to mix up, say, almost a quart, you go to your 8 part with your line 8, and line 8. All right, guys, so we're back here. It's Sunday. We started this project 9 days ago, and I'm just going to show you guys where we're at now, which is essentially we're almost at the paint phase. We just have one little bit of priming left, some seam sealing, and it's going to wrap it up. So we're going to prep all this metal out, this weld area as well, and then we're going to throw some primer sealer on it. And you may wonder, Why is there this gap right here? Well, I could have hammered that down, spot welded it in. What that is gonna do is pull this edge in this way, and it's gonna give us more bacon, which is essentially why I only have 2 plug welds on the rivets. Worst case, you know, I could throw a rivet in, it's not gonna strengthen it, but anytime we're adding this much heat, as like we already did, it's just not a good plan of attack. So while you could weld this whole thing up like I originally thought I was going to, you can learn from me, and you only need a couple little plug welds on the back, and this thing is strong.